welcome back or welcome for the very first time to Worms and Warriors. We're back with Grand Tactician The Civil War. It's our Confederate campaign and we're heading into episode 8. Things are starting to look pretty good for us. We just fought a battle in Illinois and managed to defeat the Union forces at Cairo. Do please excuse my throat, I've got a bit of a sore one. So it might be a slightly shorter episode than usual, depending on how my throat gets on, but we should be fine. But anyway, yes, so we fought a battle at Cairo, Illinois, threw the Union out of there. Albert Sidney Johnson's boys did a nice job, and we are taking possession of Cairo just as soon as the federal troops skedaddle out of there. We've pushed up into southwestern Missouri. We've driven General Lyon and his forces up here towards Papinsville. Or Papinsville? Yeah, Papinsville. I had intended on marching this whole army up to take Rolla. However, I haven't discussed it in the comments on the previous video, which if you missed, go and check it out, of course. And if you're new here, why not hit subscribe and follow the series along. But anyway, yeah, so I was going to send this whole force up to Rolla to take this place. It's got a fort, I think, somewhere. Yeah, it's got a fort and a depot, which obviously will be handy for operations in Missouri. However, once this smaller recruiting force is ready here, 3,800 men, they are going to be a little while, but in 17 days we will have an infantry brigade in there with 1,500 men under Cooper. And in 27 days they'll be joined by some artillery, and in another 35 days another infantry brigade. So once that first infantry brigade's in here, I'm going to push them up and see if we can't take this off them. And Van Dorn's going to keep pressing up here to see if we can send Lyon scuttling further back. The plan is then to move our Army of Tennessee, which is it's under 1,500 men, it's got 2,500 wounded, but I want to move them up to St. Louis. Then, hopefully, if we can manage to bring Lyon to battle and defeat him, I mean, these are two big ifs, we can then join the Trans-Mississippi Army and the Army of Tennessee up at St. Louis and hopefully hold on to that. Some other scenarios might present themselves, and if they do, we'll happily take those on. I'm moving the New Orleans squadron up here as well towards Cairo just to block any river movement, hopefully. Not that it always works. I've strengthened up Bragg's Army of Kentucky to around 8,000 with the recruits coming in, so we've got these guys now. Barksdale, who's back from injury, I've given him the Louisiana Infantry Brigade. We've recruited 2 small brigades of infantry into there. Joined by some artillery as well. They're going to be a little while, so like a month or so. I don't intend on doing much with Bragg's force. They're going to kind of sit here at Louisville. Just keep an eye on what's going on. We've constructed a depot over here. We're now in Virginia. We've constructed the depot just outside Stanton, and I'm strengthening up the Western Virginia Division in Magruder to about 8,800 men. I'm moving in some infantry. That's Bushrod Johnson's brigade. Some cavalry here and another battery of guns. So it's going to take him up to 8,800, so almost 9,000 men, and we're going to move them back up towards Beverly. There are 2 larger forces moving around here, 7,500 men in the Army of Occupation and the West Virginia Militia Force, which is now 16,000. So a battle would be problematic, but we might take it to a fight with 8,800 men. Previously, this was only about 5,000 men, and there was no chance I could take on the West Virginia militia who came at us at Grafton after we had marched up there. So that was just not feasible. But if I move these guys back up here, sort of 9,000 troops hanging out at Beverly is going to cause them a little bit of a headache, I think. To achieve those troops, I took the infantry out of the Hampton Division, so they're just a cavalry unit now. But they're just a reserve force anyway, if we're being perfectly honest. The main armies, the Eastern Virginia Corps under Beauregard and the Shenandoah Force under Joe Johnston are both looking pretty good still. We've actually got some guys here. The Carolians, sorry, messing that up. So, yes, I was going to reorganize this into another infantry division because there was just too many. We're not in the price. Let's replace him. Let's get rid of him. See if we can find a decent colonel. I've still got Lee sitting here. He hasn't been assigned. I'm keeping him for the army command once we get the core system unlocked. He's going to take command of the East. Richard Anderson was wounded. Rains was wounded as well. As was McCullough, I believe. Anyway, let's see if we can find a colonel here to give this division to. Well, Maxie Gregg, he's pretty decent. From South Carolina. Solid. Fought in the Mexican War. Yeah, let's do that. Give it Maxie Gregg. He can command this. So that's going to be the Carolians. Do please excuse it, I keep saying that. The 1st Virginia Irish Brigade, we're going to pop them in there as well. Fat Man Arkle disgraced himself, but this is a viewer unit, so I've left him in there. He can stay there, I suppose. I'm going to put him in there as well. So that's Greg with 5,300 infantry. We do have some guns here under Cooper. Stuart with a small cavalry force. Cavalry is something we're really lacking, and probably will do until I do the reform, which is some way down the line, to be honest with everyone. Finances wise, we are tanking a little bit. I mean, we're still on paper doing better than the Union, but it doesn't really mean that much, I don't think. We're funding the military quite high, but everything else is fairly low. Because our economy's already starting to tank. It's going down to BBB, and fluctuating between A- and BBB+. So I mean, that is a little bit of an issue that we need to keep an eye on. Let's talk policies. We're working on Military 2, which is 34 days away, and from there we're going to go into Conscription. So in about 60 days we should have the Conscription Act. Now, I don't want to use conscripted troops as units unless I really have to, because it hits state morale, support, and it's no good, really. However, I believe you can bring these guys in as drafts. So if they come in as drafts, it doesn't affect the state support, so most of our units are going to be changed to draft replacements rather than volunteer replacements, and new units will be made from volunteers, if that makes sense. It also extends all contracts to 3 years, so units like, let's have a quick look, units like this in the Western Virginia Division, so Tolliver's Brigade, which says Garnett's Brigade, but whatever, they've got 6 months left on their contract, so in 60 days time, in 2 months time, they'll have 4 months left, but it'll immediately ping that up to the 3-year mark, which obviously is a bit of a bummer for those guys, but it's just the way it has to be, I'm afraid, because it just is. We need the troops in the field, and we need more men. So once you bring the draft through, you also get more volunteers, because people don't want to be drafted. Let's take it from there, and let's see how it goes. We're nearly ready for another perk with Van Dorn as well. He's already got the flying column, which is excellent. Faster movement speed, which is handy out here in the Trans-Mississippi, which I talked about in the last episode. So, I mean, if you did miss that, then go and check it out. I'm not going to go over that again. It's October the 9th. We're coming up towards the kind of winter where operations will cease or slow. So we're going to keep an eye on what the Union's doing. We're keeping up operations in the West. We may do something with his force in Kentucky once those guys are in, but it's unlikely because it's going to be like November by the time we've got those dudes. Well, let's go. Let's get press play and go. So the Union are still scattering away here. What I will do is I'll bring this recruiting command up towards Jackson and the depot there. So these guys are escaping to the south, which makes no sense whatsoever. It's one of those unrealistic things in this game. So we fought a battle at Cairo, and then what? The surviving troops hopped on ferries when we just let them, and then they're scuttling off down the river. I just can't see that happening. Which is one of those ridiculous things in this game. And our fleet's moving up, but I bet even if they come in contact with them, they'll just skedaddle straight past. Even though I'm pretty sure this fleet of 9 gunboats will just tear this Army of Mississippi's transports to shreds. Where are they going though? New Madrid? It's possible. Yeah, it looks like they're going to New Madrid. So the other option would be then, if they stay here, they've got no supply whatsoever, we could hit them again with this army and just send them scuttling wherever. And then head up towards St. Louis. But I don't know if that's the right move, because if you're on this side of the river, you've at least got access to the rail network. I'm also moving Pemberton's small force up here, just to the southwest. Van Dorn is going to be on the march. It'd be nice if they stand and fight, because that would be an interesting fight. I think it's not one we necessarily will win for sure, but I mean, you don't know if you don't try. Like I say, this episode might be slightly shorter than usual. I've actually got a really sore throat, and it's This is not doing it much good. There's a Union force kicking around here somewhere. Army of Indiana. Well, 90 men. It's not really much of one just yet. Now, if we had the core system, I'd love to send a little force up here at Covington. I can't really split this tiny army. So these guys are going to be sitting at New Madrid with no supply whatsoever. Except somehow this is flipped to theirs. I mean, how can that be? How can that even be? It's in our territory. It's surrounded by our forts. We made it, so why would this possibly flip to the Union? I can't think of one good reason why that would be the case. If anybody wants to chime in, do feel free. But I can't see why that would be the case. Alright, so Van Dorn is on the march. Heading up here. We've lost sight of Lyon, but that doesn't mean much. We can pop to Papinsville, maybe to Georgetown, and then hop on the trains along to St. Louis if we don't manage to engage him. I doubt he'll push down into Arkansas with us threatening St. Louis. Just speeding things up a little bit here. We could do with more troops. There we are, we're down at BBB+, but like, I mean, realistically, we don't have that much available. We've got 28,000 men, but scattered all over the place. 5,000 from Tennessee, 2,700 there. North Carolina, I'm keeping intact because I want to build some industry in North Carolina and I want to maintain some troops there. However, we may end up having to actually recruit some troops from there. From the kind of main areas where troops are recruited from, like Louisiana, we've got 9 guys available. Georgia 5,000, which is decent. Arkansas 4, Alabama 2,500. I have got some guys lined up from Alabama, but they are taking forever to come in, so I'm not going to put any more recruit orders in from there. Missouri got 5 dudes. Mississippi 429. Maryland only got 34 support. We've got 1,100 men, so it's not amazing. North Carolina is the big untapped recruitment field. Tennessee also with 5,000 men available is not bad. South Carolina still got 2,700. So I could recruit an extra couple of brigades, but also they obviously cost money. So let's hang fire with that for now. We've got no weapons either, which is another problem. I'm really annoyed with this because I reckon these guys can probably draw supply from that, and that's not fair. The Army of Southwest Missouri is on the march. Not sure where they're going. We still haven't spotted a lion anywhere, but he'll be around. So Pemberton's got nobody in the field, but 114 men disabled. Sick, I guess. It is kind of winter time, I suppose. It's 11th of October now. The Fort Barnes garrison has got no supply. Well, how's that? We've got a depot right there. Don't know. Oh, so we have actually come in contact with Lyon. It's an unknown force, but we know what it is. The Trans-Mississippi Army is going to take them on. So we've got 21,800 infantry, 3,400 cavalry, and only 9 guns. It's a bit low on guns here, and the weapon quality is quite poor in this army, but we've got to do it. I mean, we've got to fight these guys. 23,200 infantry, 418 cavalry, and 17 guns. So we are outnumbered in infantry count, but we do have more cavalry. However, how useful that's going to be, we'll find out, I suppose. But it's a fight. The fight at Papinsville, so that should be interesting. The fight for Missouri, Van Dorn against Lyon. Let's get this loaded up and get to do it. So here we go then. Van Dorn and his guys have taken the field. We are fighting the Battle of Papinsville, and we are attacking, which makes sense, obviously. We've pushed up into them. It's October the 15th, 1861. This is quite a large fight. We're starting on a minor victory. I'm not really sure why. Oh, we've got better morale, maybe because they suffer in supply. Even though it says it's outstanding on the map, they had a little skull and crossbones. However, if we look at this terrain, it looks very, very, very grim. Let's come out with this HQ view. Oh, no, but it doesn't look too bad close up, actually. It looks worse further out. It's quite open. We've got a nice big road heading through. I'm assuming he's going to take up a defensive position somewhere along this creek. or maybe a little further back using this hill as well. Although again, that looks like a big hill on the map, but actually in real terms it's not at all. Okay. Quick look at the order of battle. We've got Van Dorn in charge, of course. McBride with his division. We've got Waitman, the Missouri State Guard Infantry Brigade. Rifle muskets here. These guys aren't actually armed as bad as I thought. I've just had a quick flick through them. Slack with some musket armed troops. We've got Anderson in the Florida Brigade, armed with Mississippi rifles. We've got Huber. I don't know how you say that. Paul Octave Huber. Mixed muskets for those guys. It's the first fight. Lots of these guys have fought already. We fought a battle with these guys, but these guys are new. We've got Loring's Brigade, Mosby Parsons, that is, with more Missouri State Guard troops. Springfield muskets. Pierce's Brigade, Springfield muskets again. We've got Leventhorpe with the Missouri Fighting Irish, their first fight. Springfield rifles for those guys. Heroes Van Bork with Jeff Davis International Brigade, their first fight as well. Mixed muskets. I've got no weapons to give them, sadly. We've got Sibley of the Good, the Bad, and Ugly fame. He's the general for the Confederates in that depiction. We've got Bowen's Cavalry from the Missouri State Guard, armed with musketoons, not bad. Mixed musket armed Arkansas Mounted Rifles, 2,000 of those guys. They might come in handy if we dismount them and fire in loose order. Stan Watty and his Indians, Native American troops are, completely correct. We've got Polk in charge of our artillery with just 8 guns. 3 of those being 10-pound Parrots, which is handy. And then Rowley with 12-pound Napoleons, which is not bad either. First battle for those guys. Stan Watty's first battle as well. The other cavalry has fought. Then we've got Hindman's division. We've got Greg with the Jan Ziska Legion. They fought well in the last battle that they were in. Mississippi rifles for those guys. We've got Colin Campbell's Cannibals. Springfield muskets. Again, they fought very well last time. Richard T. Whitewood. The Yell County Rifles. Springfield rifle muskets. These dudes fought very, very hard in the last battle. Dick White's troops. And then we've got Stevens, another new unit, which has only just joined us. Mixed muskets. So, yeah, it's not as bad as I thought, but it could definitely be better in terms of weapons. I'll go ahead and set this battle up ready to go, and I'll come back in when I'm done. Okay, so we're going for a fairly standard and straightforward sort of deployment. We've got the guns ready on the road. Loring's division with 8,500 men, give or take, in the centre. McBride's division on the left, 5,200 men. And Hindman's division out on the right with the cavalry just here as well. Hindman's division is going to swing up this way towards, whatever that's, Lathrop's place? Lathrop's farm or something. And take up position on this little hill. And we'll see what we've got from there. We'll press on and let's get going. To start the battle, it's 8 a.m. on October the 15th, 1861, Papinsville, Missouri. Here we go. Loring's going to advance to Palmer's farm, or Palmer's house, homestead, whatever you want to call it. McBride's going to swing up and stay just in the rear a little bit. Cav's just going to move just north of Palmer's homestead. And the guns, I'm going to bring them up and keep them here near the road. Hopefully we'll have get some eyes on. Going to speed it up and let the guys move into place. Okay, so the Union have actually got defences built in here. Some of their units are already flashing, which is a good sign. However, let's get our guys in place. We're not going to rush this at all. It's one of the things I say all the time, right? When you're the attacker, you've kind of got time on your side. So what I think I want to do, actually, it's going to be a slightly dangerous maneuver, but I'm going to swing McBride out around onto this road. Not like that, though. No. I'm going to move them this way, and we're going to cross this stream here, and I'm going to position them on the road, and I want them to smash into the rear of these defences as Loring's troops kind of take up the frontal part. Heineman's going to hit them on the other flank. Can't see the majority of the Union forces, so I mean they will be around. I mean, it's difficult to plan these movements, obviously, when you don't know where the enemy is, but that is the way of the world. Moving Loring up. Where's Polk? Miles away. I'm going to put Pollock's guns up on this hill. Maybe we can get a shot. I mean, I doubt it because there's trees, which is bollocks really, because they would just fire over the trees. McBride's guys moving nice and quick, so and Heineman, actually, to be fair to them. I'm going to detach the Arkansas mounted rifles and send them around this flank as well. If McBride can stay undetected over here, that would be awesome. It's going to be a slog for Heineman to get through this. So that's like a big problem, actually. So Heineman will get the orders to march in first. Timing's going to be crucial. I mean, it'll be slow for Loring as well, but he has at least got a little bit of a road here. Which will be handy, I would imagine. I would just like this not to be a disaster. My attacking skills are somewhat lacking. I'll be the first to admit that. Alright, so I'm going to bring these forward. I want to engage here. We want to engage the enemy. But let's wait for the guns. It's already coming up for 11:30, so we've been in the fight a while. Polk's guys are moving so slow. I'm tempted to move in with Heineman. We can't see anybody else, so that is a good thing. I'm going to send out some skirmishers from Greg, the Janziska Legion. Aha, so there we are. I'm glad I did that because, I mean, although these guys are out in the open, so maybe this is something that we could use to our advantage. Get our rifle-armed skirmishers out. Okay, that's actually good to know. So what I will do, I did say I'm going to move Heineman first. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to move in McBride, and I'm going to move in with Loring to engage these and hopefully get some of these guys pulled down into that fight, and then we're going to throw our men over the river. Take our time. Let Waitman, Hubert, and Slack get into position. So the Union is armed with rifles as well here. These troops at least. Good to know. Which means probably most of these guys will be. And the majority of our troops are musket armed. But, you know, that's just the way of it. Okay, once McBride starts moving in, we will send our infantry. I mean, the artillery is still taking forever. I don't think they're going to be involved in this fight very much. Heavy skirmishing. McBride's on the move. Let's get Loring forward. Quite ineffective fire from our skirmishers, but I mean, I suppose we are in the woods. But let's see how this happens. Let's see what happens with this. Okay, McBride's on the march. Let's throw out some more skirmishers into this fight. Yep, nice. McBride has crossed this little creek. I hope this is a well enough timed attack. I mean, otherwise we are in trouble. I had thought we would throw these skirmishers off there sooner rather than later, but it hasn't happened. McBride's skirmishers have engaged this artillery unit. Come on, boys. Case has been broken already. 200 casualties. You've got to be shitting us. What on earth is Slack doing up here as well? I mean, why did he chase after them? Right, I don't think this is going as planned at all. Has not gone well. That is an understatement, if ever I made one. Our skirmishers have managed to throw theirs back, which, you know, is pretty damn frustrating. Our guns have no shot at all. Infantry's running. Flank attack was ineffectual. The fighting Irish are also about to break. As is Van Bork's troops. I mean, this couldn't have gone any worse, if I'm being perfectly honest. Well, you can't win them all, and we certainly aren't going to win this one. It's time to pull out. I think I'm going to give it a minute, but I think it's pretty much done.
No, man, nothing is fucked here.
Nothing is fucked!
No, man.
The goddamn plane has crashed into the mountain!
Yeah, there we go. It's done. It's finished. This was a disaster. Whole brigade. I mean, we were running with 200 casualties apiece. They are just absorbing fire, even though they had low morale. It's not doable. Not doable at all. I know it wasn't the best executed, but I mean, the rate at which our brigades are just running and breaking is laughable. Absolutely laughable. Let's wait and see, but it hasn't gone well. It has not gone well at all. Why can't we can't even break these artillery batteries? we get anything out of this fight, it'll be sheer luck. Oh, that's okay. That's just skirmishes. I was going to say. Come on, Anderson, I want you to move up here. How many times do I need to tell you? Bones are going to arrive on the 2nd Division's flank, which will be nice. Parsons boys have lost quite a lot of men, but not much I can do with that. I don't know why, like, this Florida Brigade won't do anything. I mean, the plan kind of worked. Kind of. After an initial setback here in our main attack. None of these guys have reformed either. Oh, yes, Pierce has actually reformed, so he can come back into the fight, I hope. Oh, nice. Hubert's actually managed to pull his guys back, or however you say his name. Hopefully we can mash that 2nd Brigade up now. Keep pressing on these guys. They've broken. Almost, I think. Almost. They're done. Nice. I'm glad I didn't retreat, because I was actually going to, because I thought we were screwed there for a minute. Turned it around at least, so there is that. I don't think I covered myself in glory here, if I'm being perfectly honest. But it could have been worse. That being said, it could also definitely have been better. But, you know, it was a difficult place to attack, if I'm being perfectly honest. But, I mean, I could have done a better job, like I say, but, you know. One of them things. Hopefully we'll at least capture some decent equipment here. That would be a handy little thing if we did. I mean, General Alliance boys definitely know they've been in a fight here. Just got a half an hour left just to, you know, pick up whatever you can pick up and attack whoever you feel like. So we've picked up some parrots and stuff like that, so hopefully we'll capture some decent equipment. Some 24-pound howitzers we just picked up there as well. Stevens' brigade actually did pretty well out on the flank. So impressed with those guys. Oops, some last minute hard fighting here. Well, casualties were pretty close, much closer than I would have liked. 3,400 for the Union, 2,279 for us. A minor Confederate victory. I mean, it's not too bad considering I thought that I had mucked this up big time. So, you know, we'll take the rough with the smooth. Nice to see a bit of action out here in the far west in Missouri. And this, again, it helps solidify our position in this state. Casualties were high. It was a difficult fight, if I'm being honest. That initial attack was difficult on that entrenched position, and I probably should have held back a little bit. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Colonel Leventhorpe has fallen into disgrace. I mean, it's not fair, really. It was a tough ask for those guys to be in front of those entrenched Federals with artillery blasting at them and everything. Okay, so luck was on our side a bit for the Battle of Papinsville. The Battle of Papinsville ended the Army of the West retreating. My commanders earned us a victory. The enemy suffered 3,381 men, thereof 414 killed, 577 captured. Their morale is believed to be nervous. We lost 2,200 men, 332 killed, 345 missing, the rest wounded. Morale's confidence, supplies very good. Captured 2,000 rifles and 7 guns. We've got 23 24-pound howitzers, that's nice. 560 Springfield rifles. Garbage. Got a couple of thousand Springfield muskets, but that's it, really. Pretty poor. 3 Napoleons. 1 3-inch ordnance. I think we already had that. So even though we picked up rifled artillery there, we picked up what were the Parrots? Haven't got them. I don't know why. Pretty annoying. But anyway, yeah, we haven't got a huge amount of stuff, but we managed to win a battle up here, which is no mean feat. I mean, Lion has been whipped, I would say, but our army is in not amazing shape. But we've got another perk. Let's have a look. Movement speed across small rivers, plus 25%, and supply efficiency plus 10%. That sounds pretty good. Sappers and miners, siege assault efficiency plus 25. I don't think we need that. Skirmishing efficiency plus 5%. Enemy movement speed within range minus 10%. Level up with skirmishing. Land torpedoes. Partisan brigades. Well, I mean, I like the idea of that, but not really for the whole army. Bushwhackers again, same thing. Embedded reporters. Fame development plus 25%. Well, Van Dorn would love that, I'm sure. Limelights, siege and skirmishing efficiency during nighttime, 25% up. Expert scouts. River expedition. Level up with using forced marches. I don't like doing forced marches. Intelligence gathering and movement speed plus 5%. That sounds pretty decent. Let's do that. Skilled cartographers. There we go. Alright, so let's have a quick look at the projects. What have we got? Are we close on anything? Cast artillery? No. We need to do the command reform so we can start forming real troops. Real armies with corps. We could do lots of things. Is it organisation reform? One or the other that we need. Reboard muskets would be a good one as well. Sharps rifles would be awesome. Better weapons production. I mean, all this stuff is... We need all this stuff. I think like we're miles away from things like this. The British rifles, this is stupid that you have to fund that with 5 million. I mean, the British armed the Confederates pretty early on in the war. Like with blockade running ships bringing in all sorts of rifles and guns and things. But in game, it doesn't quite work like that. which is a shame. So we have to wait for those better weapons. 29 days away from Military 2, and then we're going to move on to Conscription, like I said. The next move will likely be that we move and converge on St. Louis. I think so. However, it does leave the Army of Mississippi down here, but it's quite small. We don't have much in the way of forces to kind of oppose them if they decide to go and rampage through the south. We'll see what happens, I suppose. But this was a successful battle, despite losing more men than I would like, despite the botched attack. It could have gone better, it could have gone worse. It was okay. If you are new here, why not hit that subscribe button, follow the series along, and join us for the next one, which will be coming a week today if you're watching it on a Monday. But anyway, have a great day, whatever you're doing. I will catch you in the next one. Ta-ra for now.